Good morning, everyone. Today I have my guest from London, Natalia Buat. She is the owner of Bombshell Nails in London.
Hello.
So it's very nice to have you here. So can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Like, how did the idea about the beauty and nail business came from?
Well, firstly, it's very nice to see you today. I'm very grateful that you invited me to take a part in your podcast. And when it comes to my business, it's been a long story. It's 4 years now since I had my business, a little bit over 4 years. And to be honest, everything started very unexpectedly. I used to work in a gym, and everything that I've been doing all my life was around gym environment. And then, of course, we had lockdown, which none of us expected to happen. And I had lots of time on my hands, and I like to be very active in life, everything I do. So I felt like stranded at home, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I also hated the fact that everything was closed. So I never imagined myself not having my nails done or not having any beauty stuff done. So I was like, okay, what should we do? It's like 2 weeks, since I need to have my infill for the nails and I really need them done. So I was like, looking into Facebook groups and asking other people what to do. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So I ordered a kit and I started practicing on myself. It did not go very well at first, but, everything comes with practice. So I just decided to carry on, Of course, I didn't go for the easiest things. So I went for nail extensions straight away instead of shellac. And then everything was all over the place. So, I took my time. Then my friend came by and she was like, oh, you do nails. Can you do some for me? So I did nails for her. Then after that, she went to work. She worked in TFL at the time, so everything was working more or less. And some coworkers of hers saw that she had nails done and they were like interested. Oh, where did you go? Everything is closed. So, she referred some people to me. And then I was like, okay, why not? Since I have lots of time and gyms were not like opening anytime soon. So I was like, okay, let me do a little bit more. And then I actually started liking it a lot. And because I always wanted to have a business of my own, I thought, let me just see how it works out and I'll just carry on, see if I can get any more people that I can practice on. And, time was passing by, things reopened, and, I actually really liked what I was doing. And since I always liked beauty and all the subjects, I just decided to try to make it a business.
Yeah.
It was really hard at first because obviously I had 2 other jobs that I was doing at the time. So I was trying to do it around my work time. And then I just, found myself opening an Instagram, having more clients from outside, not like any friends or acquaintances, just, people that I didn't know. It put me a little bit out of my comfort zone because I didn't know what to expect. And there was many stressful situations, but, I overcame that. And here we are today,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's been just 4 years because this is not very, very long period. And actually the first course, like the first learning which you take apart was like from the YouTube or the online courses?
So the first thing I've done, as I remember, so the first 6 months was just practicing like a self-taught person. So I didn't have no courses. I was just attending the Facebook groups, the Polish community that we have. Yeah. So I was on these groups and everything I was doing, I was just asking people, guys, what do you think? And how does it look? And because I didn't know, all the structures, how the extensions should look, I was just browsing like lots of pictures online and just trying to see if my nails look like, other people's nails are looking. So I was a bit lost. But then after 6 months, when everything reopened, then I remember I subscribed for like an in-person first course. I was planning that for a really long time, but I needed to wait. And it was also with a Polish person in London. It was with Asia from Indigo Nails. And then after the course, I already had a brief idea how to work, more safer and more technically better. And then after that, I went on few online courses as well with Polish people, like Polina Pastuszek from Poland. She has like a platform, and Joanna Bandurska as well. So I did these, and then I went for a few courses in Poland. And I've completed, I think, over 50 courses, I think, so far.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I just every time I have something
Yeah.
I want to work on and I know I need to develop more, I just try to find who I can learn with that's like, better than me and inspiring. And yeah, that's how I do.
And actually, your name of the business, Bombshell. So, from where did you get the idea for that?
Yeah, it was hard to decide, but I've been with this name since I started, to be honest. Like the first 6 months, I came up with this name when I opened Instagram. And I knew that if I decide on something,
You
it
have
needs
to
to
stay
be,
with it. Yeah.
I need to stick with it because it's not good to then become more known and then change your name. I knew that wasn't going to happen. So as I mentioned to you, I worked in a gym. So I really liked a brand of sportswear called Bombshell Sportswear from America.
Okay.
And I liked their clothes because they were like feminine, empowering. And I just, got inspired by that. And I was like searching on internet, does anyone, has a name called Bombshell Nails in UK?
Yeah.
And then I was so happy because no one had. So I was like, okay.
So there is only you.
Yeah. So it stuck with me. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's good because I think it's very unique. And then when someone just hear about you, then know that's actually
At
you.
first, probably I wouldn't be deciding to go with my own name because I didn't know if that was popular or not.
Yeah.
Like at this point, maybe if I would be doing an online platform of courses, I would maybe combine that with my name only and like go out of using the Bombshell name. I'm still thinking about that. It's a hard decision, but let's see.
Yeah. Can you tell me something about working in London? Because there might be like a lot of challenges, like when you're working in London. Do you think it's harder when you're working in London or maybe outside the London it's easier? What do you think like from your way? What kind of challenges?
Well, depends, depends on people, what they find challenging in their business. Like, I think for me, it will be more challenging to work outside of London than inside because there is less clientele. And I heard that it's really hard to increase your prices out of London, but I don't really know how this would work for me because I've never been out of London. So I know that I have that perseverance and I don't think there is a lot of people who charge around my price point in London either. So I think it's just like I had that idea for my business and I just, stuck with it. And like consecutively, I started increasing my prices. And then I just ended up where I am, and I think the biggest challenge for me in London was dealing with people. Sometimes, you get people from different, nationalities and everyone has different, idea for life. And like, you need to be very careful about what you say to people as,
about what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. So you need to be very respectful about everything. And I'm very chatty. So I'm trying to stay a bit different than I am personally than when I'm doing people's nails. So that, and also combining it with my personal life, work-life balance, that's difficult for me at work as well, because I can't separate how much I work as well. Sometimes I push myself for more and more. So that's challenging because London is so full of opportunities. I want to catch them all. So that's difficult for me. Yeah.
So actually, how you find the balance between the work and your private life, and then you're going on some nice holidays. So how are you managing that?
Yeah. So at first, because when I started, I told you the nail business and 2 other jobs. So like my first step was resigning from one of my part-time jobs that I had on the weekend and just doing one job and nails around. So that was the first step. Then I actually dropped out from the other place completely as well and just left with nails. So that, took a lot of weight off me. And then how I combine it, my boyfriend is, the supervisor of my free time. So he always makes sure I don't overwork myself, but, he also works, so he can't see everything that I do. So whenever he works, I try to do as much as I can. But at the beginning, I used to work a lot. Now I still do a lot, but my therapist told me, listen, you need to take some time off because otherwise, your social battery is going to drain. Yes. So I try to put myself holidays every 2-3 months, sometimes every month, depends how it is. Usually I have more holidays across end of the year, like now, because it's my birthday, end of the year, So that's one of the things. And then a second one, I just look at my calendar recently and I just try to take some time off, regardless if I am tired or not tired. I just tell myself, this is going to be my time off. And no matter if I like it or not, I'll take it because otherwise, there's no other way. Well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And can you tell me, because in London there is like, as you said, there is a lot of nail artists. There is also a lot of customers, but is it hard to break through this, all of this nail artists, just, to show this client, just they should come to you?
To be honest, I never had a problem with that. I never had like a crisis that I couldn't find any clients because I worked on developing my Instagram, and social media is super important in, promoting yourself. I always try to post consistently and advertise myself, not in like a pushy way, just like naturally, just posting something. I never said like, that there is some promotion, never advertise myself to like, push my services. I try to be natural about it. And I don't find it like, troublesome to get clients somehow. Like I get inquiries like weekly, and there is actually a lot of clients that I need to refuse.
Okay.
Sometimes I get people saying like, oh, I'll pay double. Can you take me in out of hours? But I don't have that out of hours because I work 7 days a week, first of all. Second of all, I take 4 clients a day. So I'll start 9 a.m. and then I work till like 7, 8 or 9 p.m. depending what kind of service I do. And, that's why the beauty services that I do complimentary to nails, they're very helpful because they take less time. And then I have more time for myself. So that's another answer to you asking me how I manage, not to overwork myself. That's why I do this as well.
Okay, so what do you think? Like, why those clients they're choosing you? How you make your nail stylization like better than the other like nail artists? Of course, in good way.
Yeah.
How you do it? Like, what is good in your nails? What do you think?
I'm always like a humble person, so it's hard for me always to answer that. But I think because people tell me that, so they see my work on Instagram and they know it's me. So they say to me that without looking at the Instagram name, after what they see on the Instagram, they can see it's my work. So there is something that, can extinguish me from other people. They say there is the clean cuticle look, the nice polished look of the nails, the gloss, everything now, because I started to do more minimalistic work. I, just limited my niche to like classy looks, which are very popular in London. Like the highly paid clientele, they really liked, classy, sophisticated looks. So I started, I resigned from the nail art, just doing, clean polish, even like, buy up, that's nude and that's it. And just, push that for that classy look of the polished manicure. And that really makes a result, I would say. Yeah.
So do you think there is like some clients who are still asking for the nail art?
They
or some
do, and I do
glitters?
it. Yeah, I do it, no problem. I still like to do nail arts, but I don't post them on my main grid. Like I try to not to mix it up because whenever I post, I try to make everything look like, all together matching. Yeah, so I do post it in my highlights called nail art. I started doing that because my clients who stuck with me for like 3 and 4 years, they used to love nail art and I still do it for them. And they're like, oh, we still want to see it because we love it. So can you do some, something so we can see what we can have done? I'm like, guys, you can go on Instagram, check the hashtags. If you want some nail art, you can just browse whoever, page you're looking after. And I can do anything for you anyways. It's not like I don't post it, I don't do it anymore. So that's how we find the, balance.
But I think now at these days, I think like more like plain nail stylization, like the French is, I think, most popular.
Yeah, well, the French is a subject, yes. French is always popular, it's timeless. And I do lots of that. I would say like half of my week is French.
Really?
So I really needed to start posting something else because I find it that the more I post French, the more people want it. And then I find myself like, emotionally and physically drained because it's so detailed and my brain works on like a higher attention, to details level. So then I find myself that, I need to take some time off it. I'm like, guys, there are colors, there is something else, even baby boomer, please.
And then I think the clients sometimes they don't understand like why they have to pay more for the French design.
Thankfully, I only had that question once and how I resolved it. I told my client, okay, so you think it's easy that, French doesn't require any extra skill. How about I give you, a brush and you will do your small nail just to try. Well, she struggled for like 10 minutes and then she was like, yeah, you're right. It's difficult. And the question was never asked, thankfully, anymore. But yes, I think in London, like maybe it depends how you present yourself because I always try to, on my social media from like, first months, I was telling people that you need to value quality, that I value myself and my time. I always invested in like high quality equipment and, you know, try to do everything that I can do for the clients to feel like they're getting the best what they can for the price that
it's
they
like
pay.
luxury service, and that's why they have to pay more.
Yeah, so I guess like, you know, me trying to respect myself, people just feel that, and they know that they can't push boundaries with me because I will stand by it and I will tell them how it is, and I am not going to lie to them. So, you know, there are things that, you know, you can't tell to clients, but with this, I will be very adamant about it. Like, you know, it's my life, and I didn't decide like, you know, to run a business to earn, for example, the same wages as I was working in a gym for somebody else, because, you know, that needs to be something that we get out of it.
Yeah.
We put lots of effort into what we have anyways, you know yourself. So, you know, the hard working hours, you know, and all the effort and expenses that we have as well, it needs to be balanced out.
People doesn't see that, like we have to spend a lot of time for the for a lot of money for the expenses, and then you have to spend your time for some extra courses and everything. Then they think they just coming and leaving and it's done and that's it.
So maybe like, you know, some people find it challenging. I find it that people tell me, oh, no one wants to sit and have their nails done in like 2.5 hours, but I never had that problem. Like people actually were coming to me because they wanted someone to actually pamper them and spend more time on them. So maybe, you know, it's easier for me to gain clientele because everyone is just running away from high street. Because whenever they go there, they're like being rushed on and the quality is poor. So I guess, you know, that's like the selling point in London as well.
So how long does usually like the service take with you?
I find it that, you know, the longest appointments that I have is when someone is new and I need to restructure the work that they come with. That's like the most challenging, especially if the nails are long. So that if someone has long nails, it can take me even 2 3 hours, like with color. But then, of course, if someone is coming a long time, like 2 hours, under 2 hours, depends if they have the nude buy-up or the color on top, it all, you know yourself. It depends on what color they choose. But regular clients, because I work on their cuticles in a way that, you know, every time they come, there is less work required. Then if they are being regular, they come every 3 weeks. It usually takes like 2 hours, 15 minutes tops. With art or with color.
Because what I see, the girls, they are thinking they have to work like very fast. They are trying to find a way how to work under, let's say, 1 hour. But I think like, I don't know how is that possible. Like you have to have like perfect cuticles, perfect painting, like color applied.
Speaking of which, interesting. I'm not gonna say the name of the brand, but I've been invited to have like a free course and like free nail kit from a brand. And I went to the course, and for the last like an hour and a half, for like last 2 hours, we had a task, me and the girl across the table. We needed to do each other's hand. And I said to her, go first, because, you know, you are like just 1 or 2 years into the industry. I will give you more time because I know, you know, I'll just work with the time I've got. But little that I knew that we were given like, you know, under 1 hour each to do a removal, soak off, then do the cuticles, then put the base, paint red color, and then top on top. So on the one hand, under 1 hour. And I was like, there's no way I can do it, you know. It's like if I would never allow anyone to take a picture of my work, no matter if it's gonna go on social media or it's gonna be kept in their database, just to, like, you know, to see that I passed the course and what I've done. I don't allow anyone to take a picture of my work that it's not up to standard. And I was like, I already, you know, I said to myself, this is not gonna happen. So she finished my hand and I looked at my hand and I was like, oh, bless her. Like, you know, I'm glad she's made it. And I was like, I can do 2 nails. That's it. Just 2 fingers. I'm not going to be able to complete everything. And like, I didn't even do the removal because they said removal on the other hand. And on this hand, you had a clean slate and do everything. So I said to the lady, listen, this is all I've done. Like, you know, there's like 10 minutes left, but I know I can't start the other fingers. I'm fine with like forfeiting passing the course. Like, you know, for me, important is that, you know, I've done my best. You can take a picture of those 2 nails and that's it. And they failed my assessment because I didn't complete it in the 40 minutes I had. I didn't have 1 hour like the other girl. I had 40 minutes and they failed me. And then, you know, I was like very grateful for the gift, but I wrote them an email. I was like, guys, like if you're teaching new people, like I had many people reaching out to me after the course saying that they were actually feeling like, you know, uncertain of their skills. And they didn't know like if they learned everything properly because they've been rushed. This is not correct. You know, if you stand by your values that you are actually a company that prioritizes the health of the nails and like the standards of the service, like timing, it shouldn't be actually like a factor deciding whether you pass the course course or not, that this is really bad. And they're like a big brand, you know? So then they replied to me and they said like, yeah, like we are very sorry for your experience and it's fine, like, you know. So they actually like, you know, fixed it up at the end. But yeah, it was just very shocking to me. Like it just should be structured way better. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think the same way as you.
No. I mean, you know, it takes what it takes. If someone is not going to choose me as their nail stylist because I can't do it in a quick time, I mean, you're not my client. And it's like this, you know, not everyone will be your client and that's okay. Yeah.
And there is a lot of like clients and nail stylists, then you don't have to be worried about, you know, having this client. I mean, if not this one, then the other one will come and then they will respect you and they will be happy. They they want to stay longer and have nice nails.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you started with the nails, yes, and then you begin your beauty journey. So from where did the idea came from for the beauty?
So it was actually the other way around. Before I started the nail business, I was always interested in aesthetics. So like nails, I started doing them maybe when I was 20, but before that I was already interested in like, you know, makeup, skincare, like lashes and stuff. So I always did my own research in the internet, how to take care of myself, you know, how to look good, because my biggest fear is to look bad when I'm old. So I was always into that. And when I came to London, I had like a beauty doctor that I really admire, Dr. Majid, and he's been taking care of me for like years and years. And he actually inspired me about like the beauty and aesthetics. So before I started nails and before the lockdown came, I was thinking that maybe one day I could go into that and start my own business connected with aesthetics and like, you know, fillers and stuff. But then I never had enough money. That was such a big, like, you know, setback. And I was like, you know, I can barely with my wages, like, you know, pay my rent and go on holiday, let alone investing thousands and thousands into something that, you know, it's going to take me years to study. And like, you know, I won't have any clients to start with. Like, I don't have a place as well. It was just out of like my dreams, you know? So then after I started doing nails and I was like, you know, well established, like last year, I felt like, you know, okay, I'm like safe. I don't need to think how to do nails anymore because it comes like automatically. So now it's like time for me to, you know, branch out and start doing something that I'm also passionate about. And that could go well, you know, with my nail services, because the clients that were coming to me for nails, many of the times we found ourselves like talking about beauty. So they would ask me, oh, what do you do that your skin is so glowy, like your under eyes and stuff? So I would give them actually free advice. I was like, okay, thinking to myself, I'm giving out everyone a free advice. Why don't I monetize this, you know, and start doing something that can complement my other services? So, yeah.
And what is your favorite beauty treatment which you do?
Microneedling, definitely. Yeah, microneedling is a big one. And I've been actually secretly doing it on myself against my beauty doctor's advices since, I was young. And actually, believe me or not, it's been like, life-saving, because I started it when I was 24. Now I'm 32. And I can tell you, even my beauty doctor was impressed when I told him I use Matrixyl as a serum for microneedling. And he was like, oh, I need to start introducing this in my practice. And he tried it on himself and he said, yeah, it was good. But you can also use peptides, he said. So we agreed on that one. Yeah, but it's a good treatment. But now, of course, I have better equipment because I used to work on like a skin pen before. Now I have a proper derma pen. So the level of the needling is like much quality is different now. Yeah.
And how do you manage the different clients? So you've got the clients with different expectation as well. Some of the clients, they are able to pay a lot of money. Some of them, they will be able to pay a little bit less. Did you have some different strange situation? Or
I used to have a situation, for example, that people would not show up for their appointments, or I had a problem sometimes that someone requested a chargeback for their service because they couldn't afford it. So that used to happen when I was taking 50% deposit or when I was taking £10 deposits. So I don't like to stress, and that was like 2.5 years ago. So for 2.5 years now, I take a full prepayment for the appointments, and that's how I deal with all the challenging situations that I had. So I filtered out all the clients that couldn't afford the service, because that chargeback, it really hit me. Like I did literally the most hard things for her, the long extension, extensions, then nail art. And she's been preaching how, how good she is and how karma gets people that don't, behave well.
Oh my God.
And she was talking on the phone to her son, saying how is his first time out, that she's sending him money. And then in the end, I could see she had zero balance on her account when she was trying to pay me, and took it from some like Lloyd's Club card or something. And then a couple days later, I see a chargeback on my account. I called the bank and they're like, oh, the lady said she transferred it to a wrong person. And I'm like, they didn't tell me the name. So I needed to like see by transaction number. And I saw it was her. I called her. I messaged her. I was like, honey, you were so happy when you were leaving and you said you're going to be definitely back. Like, I'm super shocked because the work was up to standard. I even have pictures for it. She's never replied. Just ghosted, So yeah, how I deal with the clients with different expectations. So first of all, yes, I started charging full price, and now I don't have situations as such. So yeah, and yeah.
And what was like when you started your nail business? When you started charging your clients, from which prices did you start?
I started with actually £30 for everything. So no matter if I would do extensions, normal like overlays or pedicures, everything was one price. And I remember I looked into my booking system because I had Booksy almost since the beginning. I did like packages, £50 for hands and feet. And I was like, my gosh, how did I do this? But, it's a journey. You need to start first somewhere. And you can't be charging high amounts from the beginning when you are still working out your business, your techniques and stuff. So actually, a lot of people who's been with me from those like 30, 40 pounds price point, they're still with me. So like instead of now paying 30, they pay 80, 90, or for the double package, 150, and they're fine with paying that. Of course, I give few people that are very loyal to me a small loyalty discount, but it's not a lot. It's £5 per service. So, they really value my work, and I'm so blessed that I actually work with people who appreciate me and, they understand that business is business. And regardless if you're coming to me for a long time or not, I respect you. I will do the high quality work for you, and they are happy to pay the price that I ask them to pay. So, yeah.
So how long did it take you to achieve the prices which you've got now? And I checked it can be up to 130.
Yeah, for extensions. So I think there was at the beginning I was just increasing the price month by month by £5, £10. And there was a time that I just did I drew a line and I said, okay, my regular clients are gonna get £55 per service, but for the new clients I'll do 70. So I tried to balance it out, and for some of the clients who were loyal to me, I just decided to just to take it slow, because I need to have a solid client base, and then if I make any changes, they won't make such a big impact on my business. And I just said to myself, let's see how it goes. If the new clients are not going to be willing to pay that, then I can always decrease it and no one's gonna know it. So, actually, they were happy to pay it. And I was like, okay, then, well, I knew that there are other people in London that were charging more than me anyways, and they were getting clients. So I started looking at their work and at my work. And I was like, okay, well, we're technically doing the same thing. So let me invest in my Instagram, market myself, and I will try to make it. And then I just decided, I'm just merging everybody. I just, on holiday, I was so fed up. I was like, I'm working so hard and I just want to be, valued for what I do and earn enough, what I deserve. And I just wrote an email to everybody. I was like, trying to justify it. And I know that my equipment costs so much. The table that I have is 1,500. We invest in the autoclave. Other people in the industry, I was looking at the groups. People sometimes say you don't need to have an autoclave, or you just need to submerge, the tools in the barbicide and that's it, or wash it with soap and water. I was like, I really deserve this. So I just drew a line, did it. And, I didn't have of course, some people left, but, a majority of people who left is when they were paying 30, and then now I'm a completely different price point. So naturally some people would leave because it's just not something that they can afford. And the nice part is that they still text me, they still cheer for me. So maybe they're like, okay, I'm very sorry, I can't afford this, but I'm so happy to still support you and text you and check on you, and they're my actually biggest supporters. So I'm very grateful.
Do you have maybe some advice for the nail stylists, they are just starting and and let's say they are starting with the prices £30, like what they should do maybe to let them increase the prices to charge more, because what I can see, the nail technicians, they are charging too little.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
First of all, I think they should install like a calculator. I know that some brands, they provide like a calculator that you can, see how much you should charge to at least earn the bare minimum wage, at least, because some people price themselves so low that even after all the expenses, they earn less than minimum wage, which is unacceptable. So I think first of all, that's the step, to know what you should charge to make it worth it. And then second of all, just, value yourself, believe in yourself, and do a research as well, what other people in your area are charging. If there are people who charge, as they should, you should value yourself at least at what others are charging. Don't undercharge yourself, believing you're going to get more clients. Because guess what? Once you will want to increase those prices, they're going to leave you anyway. And that's just like, creating a very toxic environment when, we are struggling to increase the prices, all of us, because someone set it so low that people think it's a norm, but it's not, so I think, believing in yourself, calculating things well, definitely, advertising and upskilling as well, because obviously you can't put higher prices if your skills don't, match up with what you want to charge. But I do think that, a bare minimum what people should charge is like £50 and not less. Like I see people 40. I didn't see actually £30 anymore, but
there is.
Oh, there is. Okay. Well, okay.
And can you tell me, like, when you're doing your nail sterilization, then what do you think, what is the most important part for you to take it like as that nice look, like on the end, to have it like
well, definitely prep. Prep, it like takes me sometimes 45 minutes to 1 hour in a very complicated case that someone has very dry skin or like very moist, and very sensitive. Like I always take my time with that, because if you mess up anything on the cuticle phase, everything will be visible later. So all the dry skin or like cuts and stuff, that can't happen, not only for the health and safety, but also for the overall look. So I always put a lot of, importance to that. And when I get new clients, they're like, oh, why your services take so long? But then once I finish the prep, they're like, oh, now I understand why it takes so long, because it's actually such a like, impressive look. Even they're like, oh, I would be happy to even leave that with my cuticles done because they already look much better. But, I think that's the most important part. But overall, like every step is as important, because, if you don't apply the gel evenly, then you won't be able to paint evenly or put the top coat evenly to like, okay, you can fix it a little later. But, it's still not going to be the same as if you would do every step like, to perfection. So like, I think overall everything is as important, but the prep the most, I would say.
And this perfection, it gives you more opportunity, and you started a little time ago. I'm not sure how long already, but you started teaching as well. So you became an educator. And from where did you get the idea to start teaching?
So I did my qualification like 2 years ago, but then I took it slow because I also started the beauty treatments at the same time. So like, I was just trying to like work out how to incorporate everything between. And also before taking first students, I want to make sure that my manuals were up to standard. I did all the background checks on everything that should be done. I like investigated the industry, how other people are teaching, because, my biggest like fear is to fail in something. So before I go into things, sometimes I learn to throw myself into things without being ready, because we're never fully ready. But like, before I actually started, I like to investigate. So I took like the first year slowly. And then last year I just decided, okay, now it's time to start. I'm still like working through the logistics of it, or like trying to advertise it more, because I need to start advertising myself more. But, now this step is working on my Instagram much more. So like, I experience now much more growth of my followers. And then where it comes, getting more students like regularly. Now with the requests I'm getting, like, I need to slow this down a little, because now I have my regular clients. So how do I fit it? Because if I do a training day, then it takes like 9 till 5. So it means I can take three less people that I usually take. So like I can't do more than I can do, and there is a lot of people who want weekend courses as well. And I can't do that. Like weekend clients, they can't come on the weekdays. So I need to say no to students who want to come on weekends. But that wasn't actually a problem to me yet. Like sometimes people are saying, oh, I can only do weekends, but it's not a problem. So yeah.
And how do you invest in your development? Are you planning some more courses, any more investment in yourself?
Yeah. So as I said to you, like overally from the both of the industries, I did like over 50 courses. I can't even count anymore. But basically what I did now, because I feel like I'm at this stage of my career that I've learned a lot. I'm not stopping to develop myself, of course, but it's hard for me to find like courses that would inspire me and something that could improve me much more. So now what I'm doing, I'm focusing on the social media part. So that's what I do. Maybe I don't attend yet like, social media courses, but I'm doing a lot of research, like, like you said, how to separate my work life from my normal life. Yes. So after work, I find myself being on my phone like all the time. Sometimes my boyfriend is like tapping me, like, I'm talking to you. I'm like, don't interrupt me. So like I sit on Instagram and I scroll, like I create like a separate page on Instagram just to follow social media accounts and like see what to do, to develop myself. So that's how I work on myself now, like trying to, push my business into going a little bit online as well. So like providing online courses and then learn how to market myself better, how to change my Instagram, to be even more professional. And that's how, how my self-development looks now. So learning these things and stuff, instead not like technically about nails or like beauty, just the Instagram part. Yeah.
And can you tell to our nail stylists which are just watching us or listening us, what is your one of the favorite nail brands which you're using at the moment?
At the moment, actually surprisingly, because, a lot of brands are now starting to reach out to me to, collaborate. I found a brand called Kinetics.
Okay.
And I've been sent, actually, I'm very grateful for that, like a huge parcel which contained like, classic gels, so hard gels, jelly gels, like bottle gels, which are very popular at the moment. And I was so surprised, like, because it came to me. I didn't research it. I usually like do research a lot. So yeah, the consistency was like butter. It was like self-leveling perfectly. And it makes the work like so much quicker and more efficient. Like my biggest struggle was to find like a hard gel that when you do the long nails, like extensions from beginning or like an infill to not take too long. Because I feel like some gels are like so dense that it takes you longer because they are so like, thick. So I used to before warm up the gels with, the cup warmer. But now this gel is so good, the classic gel, that yesterday I posted on my story. I did like long nails with silver glitter. It literally took me 2 hours and a half. And I wasn't even like, rushing. I was actually being very slow, but the gel was so perfect that it made it much easier, So definitely Kinetics. What I like as well, American Creator is nice. Well, of course, our Polish brand Indigo. I love their gel polishes. Gels maybe not so much, but yeah, polishes, yes. And then Ukrainian brands, there is like Luna, there is Dark. So these brands are very good.
Okay. Yeah. And when you started you doing your beauty business as well, then how did you manage, because you have a lot of clients for the nails. So how did you take time to take new clients for the beauty treatments?
That's the thing. I don't, so I limited myself. I will only take the beauty treatment clients that are already my clients for nails. So I don't take like external clients for beauty, for the aesthetic treatments, because I know that it would be very hard for me to compromise everything. It's just too much on myself. Like I used to do lashes, for example, before. I still do lash lifts, but I don't do lash extensions anymore. I feel like, these subjects are so extensive. You can't be excellent at everything. And moreover, I got like a glue allergy as well, which is another subject. But yeah, in the end, I would stick with nails only. And the beauty treatments are like, complementing what I do, because I can do, for example, a beauty treatment of micro needling, change, after that, prepare the studio and then continue with nails, for example. So, one client can come, like a one-stop shop for a few things that they want to have done. And they actually like that,
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that, like I see the same client for 3 times in 2 weeks. They will come like hands and feet one day, then something beauty related, and then they'll come back for lash lift. So it's nice,
Yeah, so I think it's good. Like when you are doing more than one thing, then you
Yeah,
can have
it helps,
also.
like
Yeah.
we all have like slower times in the business. Like for example, I feel like the slowest months is January and somehow October.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I noticed that everyone like, keeps struggling with those 2 months. January is long. And everyone is so drained, like, after Christmas and New Year's. So, for a reason, we have the Blue Monday, the third Monday of the month. So I feel like that's the situation. And then because you offer other services, then it's easier for you to fill the gaps. So I feel it's a good, compromise.
When I was preparing the question for you, then I thought I seen like you had 9,000 followers something. And then
I was gonna tell you, please change.
Yeah, and then yesterday I did some recap on my question, and I was like, it's nearly 11,000 now.
Yeah.
So how are you doing that?
Well, that's the thing. It's a secret, but no, I mean, it's nothing that I would do that's like, not approved. But basically, it's just being authentic. I feel like I cannot give you a recipe of how to grow your followers because it's not fair. I've worked for this so hard. But, I feel like the advice I can give to others is definitely like develop your own style. Because I feel like so many people are just trying to copy others. Like there is, Carolina, there is Marina, and everyone at some point like went to their courses and they started to take content the same way as they take content.
Okay.
And then you have like a group of people that all look the same. And like, at some point you scroll and it starts to be boring. So I feel like, I just try to find myself a niche. Like I love doing pedicures and I feel like, I want to go into that as well to promote it more. And like even on my courses, I try not to teach my students like how I take pictures because I don't want people to take pictures the same way as I do. It's not fair, So I tell them, how to set your camera, how your pictures should look good and stuff. But I won't tell you take pictures this and this way because this is how I do it. Because then they will have the pictures looking like mine. And I want to be like, something that people don't copy and paste, So I also, so having your unique style, definitely, being consistent. That's like a big thing. If you don't post like every day or every 2 days, and then it's not going to work. And it's actually very time consuming. Like, sitting, writing captions, checking hashtags, checking trending music, like, it's all like combining into one. And then it takes like, maybe like a one influencer, like I have some like, clients who have very big following. So like when they repost my work, it draws attention of other people and then I get the followers. Then I got few collabs with like other brands. They repost my work. It also got me followers. And then like, if you enter that loop of Instagram that just keeps pushing you, then you have like a wave and it just like, comes at you. But it's like, sometimes it's very unexpected as well.
Yeah. So you have to just keep going.
Yeah. Like there are days, that your engagement will be low, but then, some people would be just like, oh, I'm putting so much work. Like, why do I carry on if I have like 100 likes? But the thing is, one day you're going to get that 100. But then, a couple days later, that reel will be like, oh, somehow it came like 200 more likes to that same reel that I posted. So like I find it with reels that the first day you might have low engagement, but then weeks later, somehow you get so much more likes and it gets pushed into somewhere and it like becomes visible to other people. Whereas the posts, for example, they get a lot of engagement at the first day and then it's like, gradual, like, flow. But, it's just important to keep going. Yeah.
And because we spoke about you being the nail educator and like how did the idea came from like for you, how do you want to achieve to be like a nail
I certainly wanted to like diversify at first, because we spent a lot of time at the desk and it's hard for us, I'm not gonna lie, like if you don't work out in the gym you can develop a back pain and that's not cute, so that was one of the reasons as well. But mainly it's because I like to help others and I felt like the industry that we are in our country in UK, it has so much room for improvement and there is a lot of like misconceptions and people saying one thing and it's actually because we are from Eastern Europe and our techniques are there much more advanced and we know what's correct and they have a different conception here. I just wanted to be like an advocate first of all for like health and safety and like how things should be done and also for the prices as well. Like I like to support other people, like elevate them, like you should like value yourself more. So I found that, if I become an educator, I can actually meet with someone like one-to-one, like teach them how to improve their work, but also like, to help them to elevate. And I, because I used to work in a gym, as I said to you, I had a team of 5 that I was managing. They were like, younger people than me. And every time I would do like, teach them something, it would be so satisfying to see them like, from day one when they came and who they were. And then after 1 year being completely like independent and actually like behaving on like a managerial level. And then they would go to be promoted. And like, it's just something that I was missing in this career that I had in there. So I was like, if I become an educator, like I'll, if I do well, I will have that, people being grateful for what I share with them. And then I wanted to also be like, supportive. So I wouldn't send them away and like, be non-responsive if they need help. I'm like, look, you learned this here on this one day, but if you still have questions, like you can always come back to me and ask me. Like I won't give you a time like 1, 2, 3 months. You can like come back anytime. So yeah.
And do you have like some more ambitious plan for the next few years apart your social media growing?
Well, as a Sagittarius, I have a brain full of ideas always anyways. But yeah, for the moment, I have like few plans, like one non-related to my business and one related to it. But like, they come together. So I am trying to go into property. Market. So me and my partner were trying to save as much money as we can so we can open like a rental property in Madeira so we can have some passive income, because like my ultimate goal is like to work less but also earn either the same or more. So that's really important to me. That's always been a thing. And with my nail related business, definitely like going more online. And I'm not gonna get more into details because I don't like to talk about something that is not, released yet. But definitely like, having something that will work for me without me actively working. Yeah. So that's definitely something I want to work.
And what is the most important lesson which you learn while you are the nail artist?
I would say, because, I've sometimes people think that when you have new clients is the most like challenging moment when you meet them and try to impress them. But actually what I've learned that the most challenging is to actually keep your regular clients all the time happy. So like, provide them the same level of service and attention throughout all those years, and I started to notice that it's actually really important to like value them more than anything else. Everyone is important, but, upkeeping your regular clients base is what ultimately makes your business. So you should always like, provide them the same amount of attention and care. And sometimes we get comfortable. That's what I'm talking about. If you see someone every month, they like become your friend, but you should never like cross that boundary between the client and a friend because it's like, such a thin line. So definitely that is a lesson.
And can you tell me what is your favorite like memory to having your clients? Maybe you've got some nice story with your clients which you want to share with us.
Well, definitely a nice story is me actually arranging for the first time ever like a meeting for my clients. So I accumulated like a group of, like 10 people, clients that are most like, coming to me for the longest time. I would make it bigger, but there's a limit in the restaurant, of course. So I tried to limit it as much as I could. But yeah, we met and it turned out that so many girls had so many things in common. Like some of them were born 2 days apart. Like some of them had a boyfriend of the same name, like, the same zodiac sign. Like one girl was born on the same day as me. And like, it was so easy, like, because I had such a good idea of who would get along. I invited them all and we had such a good time. We ended up sitting till midnight, like drinking and laughing,
That's nice.
And then they took like, they came with the initiative of like taking nail pictures together, like showing them like this. And, it was such a nice moment of like, knowing that these people came here for you because they wanted to, not because they were forced or they felt like, if I don't come, she's going to be mad with me and she's not going to do my nails anymore. They just wanted to be there, But I think the funniest thing is that when we met that time, everyone was like, oh, so have you heard Natalia's stories about the worst clients she's ever had? And they're like, yeah, we all heard it. So yeah, there are like few stories that happened to me, like maybe 4 or 5 in my whole career that everyone knows. And so when you tell me about the like, the nicest things, I sometimes at the back of my head, I remember the worst things only. So I had a lady who was running 1 hour late. And she texted me 1 hour before that she will be 1 hour late. So 2 hours. Then she asked me for a champagne on the way as well.
Okay.
Then she came. She didn't apologize for being late. And also she glued her fingers in the lamp with black polish. So like polish was everywhere all over cuticles. She couldn't bother any less, you know. Then I asked her like, look, maybe we can change color for the feet because you wanted black as well. And it's taking a long time. I have another client after you. So like we are going to be running out like 1 hour and 45 minutes late. You know, I really need to do something about it. Unbothered, you know. Then I did her feet. I was like trying to do it as nice as I could with the time I had. And then we finished the service and she's like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, blank head, you know, I didn't know what she meant. But then she was like, oh, you were meant to fix the corner of my big toenail. And then I reminded myself when we spoke on Instagram, she was like, oh, can you fix this corner? Like if we will have time. So I explained like you were late this and this much. Then this situation happened with the fixes. There was simply no time for that. She was like, oh, I want a refund then for the corners. I'm like, you never paid for the corners, darling, because they were complimentary because you booked hands and feet. So I wanted to be nice to you. Then she thought for a little bit. She was like, oh, can I go to your bathroom? Okay. I'm like, okay. And, you know, I have that little nice cabinet in the bathroom with all the cosmetics that you can like, you know, turn around. It's like a carousel. And then so I started tidying up and she's in the bathroom for such a long time. And I don't know what's happening. So I'm like, you know, she went out, she started putting her shoes on. And I just thought like, oh, let me put a paper towel back because people dry their hands with the paper towel in my bathroom. And I look at the cabinet and I'm like, my Harley Street serum for like 90 quid is gone. Oh, and I'm like, I never take that serum out of the bathroom. Like, I'm surely it was her, you know? So then I like confront her and I said to her, like, look, you need to put the serum back. And she was like shocked. She was like, oh, she probably didn't think that I would notice. So she put it back. She slammed my door and she went out without apologizing, nothing. And then guess what? 5 weeks later, I get a message and she's like, oh, Han, hope you're well. I tried to find you on Instagram. I tried to find you on Booksy, but I can't find you, you know, where I was so upset about what she's done that, you know, I just blocked her. And I was like, I don't want no negativity in my life out of this. And she was like, oh, I wanted to book for an infill. I was like, is she mad? Like she said she was a business owner. She did all these things and yet she's like, you know, still expecting to be back. Like, I just decided, you know, that's just, that's the worst story. Apart from the chargeback that someone did, I think that's the worst story I ever had. So that overcomes all the good stuff, I guess. So, yeah.
Okay. So do you have maybe like on the end, just like some last words which you would like to say to the nail technicians which want to become as that good as you are?
I would say working hard is like the primary part of, you know, developing your business and like never giving up, believing in yourself. First of all, like I know we sometimes have the, you know, the highs and the lows, but, you know, try to like work through it and never give up. I think that's something that I've been doing since the beginning. Like, you know, I didn't know if doing nails was going to work out for me because I never planned it as my business initially. But like, you know, the fact that I have an approach that when I start something, I always try to do the best that I can for the situation that I'm at. Like this is something that people should take on board and like really do. Like, you know, don't think that you will fail. Just try to do it anyway and do your best at it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think this podcast was very helpful for the girls and maybe guys.
Well, hopefully there is some guys
who was watching us and listening us. And thank you very much. And I hope to see you again, maybe one day.
Thank you so much. It was nice to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.